There you go. There we go. Talking.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stay standing while we mention those who have passed since our last meeting. Janine L. Jensen. Betty J. Avila. Daniel W. Budd. Martin Radkin. Roll call, Mike.
Here.
Yep.
Here.
Right, here. We have one missing, Bill Brown. The kids. Our fire exits are right here. The only exit that we take in case of a fire. Correspondence, I do believe we have none. Any concerns?
Thank you.
All right, so petitioners that are in the audience or on Zoom, this is your time for expressing any concerns that you have for the town board. Step up here and just mention who you are and what you
Tom Campbell, Wiki Drive. I'm here again about the trucking company on Wiki Drive. Now, I put in several complaints. Nothing's done. I came down, talked to John. John said, call him on Saturday, he'll come look at the trucks. Call him on Saturday, no answer. Call him the following Saturday, no answer. So then I came back down here again and I spoke to TJ. TJ said, well, you gotta send me pictures. So I sent dozens of pictures, email and to text messages. He said, we're gonna have to take them to court. Nothing was done. I come back down again, speak to him again. Oh, we're gonna have to fine him. You know, it's not like it's a local contractor coming to park in his trucks. These are trucks, these are jolly, you know, his employees come picking up trucks, driving them out, coming back all day long, all night long. Just 7-day operation. I mean, it's been going on for a long time and nothing's been done
I'm sorry, where is this?
on Vicky Drive.
Now that I go up from Continental.
Yep.
Well, Michael talked to.
Pulling in
John
trailers.
Appisak is now the building inspector, TJ.
Yeah, I know, he's gone now, but I mean, he was supposed to do so, he did nothing. I mean, I don't know why we're paying building inspectors, code enforcement officers, is not gonna enforce the codes. And like I said, it's not like a little landscaping, guys. I mean, this is a company, these are 3 huge trucks, two pickup trucks. And it's pulling in trailers, pulling out trailers. Crazy, I mean, with the quality of life is terrible there. You know, to have to live like that. I know if it was by any of your houses, it would be stopped immediately. But since it's out of sight, out of mind, nobody bothers with it. I mean, it's crazy. Going on for a long time. And nobody's done anything. I've spoken to you before about it. And nothing's being done. Maybe if you start finding them, they'll stop doing it. It's crazy. And then I look at the tax. This guy's paying less tax than me. He's got twice as much property, a big huge shed on this thing, a trucking company, and he's paying less taxes than me. I can't figure it out.
They're parking the trucks on the road?
Yeah, on the street, on property. It's not in his, half it's not even his property. Somebody else, he just dug outside of the embankment to park more trucks there.
There isn't there two, there's one street and then there's one where it goes, he goes around it.
Around the corner, yeah, at the end, yes.
Right around the corner.
That whole street is all ripped up. And the truck's been going in and out for years now. I
What's it
mean,
considered on the road?
but now it's getting out of control.
Great.
Huh?
Not great.
Talking about.
I mean,
And what could be done about this?
this was brought up a while back too.
Mhm.
Yeah, you see outside of Vicky Drive, it's all tore up
I agree with you.
in the trucks. I mean, his son's back again. He almost hit me the other day in one of his trucks. Now, who's gonna be responsible? He is, one of those commercial vehicles.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, that street's getting terrible. They're not made for big, you know, these are big tow trucks. They're not little pickup trucks.
Bill, do we have local ordinances in residential districts?
Well, you can't operate a business, you know, without,
Okay.
you know, permits, so. It's probably against zoning, but I
Definitely.
don't know the property and I don't know what the guy's doing with it. Somebody in the building department to.
You also, John went to John.
We will. We do.
I mean, I got plenty of pictures I can send you, it's not a big deal, I got plenty of proof.
Make it a point to get done in tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, tomorrow's closed. We're closed tomorrow, Good Friday. Well, I can't be till Monday. Okay.
Well, hopefully something does, yeah, I don't want it coming down here,
I
I don't have
understand.
reports.
I understand.
That's the
Give
top.
me till Monday to sit with John.
All right, I'll give you all the pictures, I mean, they come in at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And plus, in the winter time, they're out there idling for half hour, an hour,
Whatever you got is important.
oh, I got tons of them. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience or Jeff Cruden, come on.
Jeff Rubin from the Preservation Commission on the Forshbelt Museum. Just a note or mention that on May 24th and May 25th, there are going to be ceremonies, one at the Ellenville Library and on the 24th, and one at the Greenfield Park Firehouse on May 25th. Both of which are installation, dedication of markers, historic markers that have to do with Forshbelt era. And so it's going to be, that installation ceremony. And then there's going to be, like at the Common Good on the 24th, there's cocktails after the ceremony at the Common Good. And on the 25th, there's a tour of one of the old Forshbelt era hotels. I think it's the Grand Mountain or the Grand View. It's on information that the board has. I dropped off some of those postcard-like things earlier today. But I just want to make.
We had one for the Nebly, right?
What's that?
I saw the one for the Nebly.
Yes, that has the Nebly Tower on the
Right.
cover there, right? So the markers are going to be installed, and those are going to be part of a Sullivan and Ulster tour that people will be able to take. Right now, there's about 8 of them up already in Sullivan County. These are the first 2. Ours here in the town and in the village are going to be the first 2 in Ulster County. Altogether, there'll be about 20 on that tour, so you can drive through. That could be QR codes, that kind of thing. You can do a self-guided tour. Just want to make people aware, and certainly the board members are invited to attend those ceremonies. They're part of our history. And anybody that, members of the board know, encourage folks to attend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, we're gonna take care of that sign for Route 52 overlook
Oh, okay, great,
tonight. That's what we got here.
fantastic.
Where in Greenfield Park is the other sign going? It's on the firehouse, property, the piece of grass right there outside the firehouse?
I know they talked with folks at the firehouse, and I
Tony was there today, I think.
No.
Right in front of the firehouse, between the telephone pole and the street on Oak Ridge,
okay.
That's in the grass area right there.
in the grandstand.
So those markers are gonna be, I think people enjoy coming through the community and, seeing the markers, learn a little bit about our history. The overlook one is gonna be interesting too, because it's got where it is, you guys know where the pull-off is up there, the nature panels are there now. And you're looking down on that sweeping view of the valley, you're looking at our village and town. And that's gonna kind of capture that view and the era. That anybody who sees that is gonna be just like, wow. So, looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Anybody on Zoom or? No. Start with 1, budget bonds? No. So we're gonna do 2 bills as audited. Have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Donnie and Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 3 is the assessor's report, 4 is the building department, 5 is the justice court. 6 is the highway department, 7 is the town clerk's report. 8 is the dog control officer report. for March, the maintenance report and the recreation report. And the supervisor report, so that would be
I'll move 3 through 11.
you, Mike, and
Second.
Johnny, all in favor?
Aye.
Town board to approve the hiring of the following staff members of the Camp Chewunga Summer Program. This is per the recommendation of Recreation Department hiring.
I'll move it.
Second.
This list is incomplete though.
There's 4 more on the second.
This is the one that we tabled last week.
Right.
And what happened to the one that we added for this week?
Because that has to go to the county, at least it didn't send them to the county.
Okay.
That was my understanding, that they hadn't made it to the county yet.
These people still haven't fully made it to the county, neither. So it's
These
like-
are the ones that we tabled, and they were all good, I thought, at the last meeting.
Yeah, but
To be
These
approved,
went, these here went to the
went to the
county.
county.
Okay.
How many more are there?
Is
A whole bunch.
the new one. These ones were of the returners and this one, the other one is the new one. So what's going to happen is, so like all the kids that were believing that now they were gonna be approved, now are gonna bring in the paperwork, so they either drop this down and we are not ready because they haven't been approved.
So we can,
But that my understanding was that we were not gonna approve them all tonight. That was the whole,
well, if they haven't approved the county, you can't.
Right.
So we can only approve what's on this list that the county approved.
the
So
county still hasn't approved us, so like they got sent, but these kids still have not
these haven't
been.
been approved?
No, because the county takes a while. That's what I was like, I don't understand why we.
The whole problem is not the town board just approving it. It goes to Ulster County Civil Service.
Mhm.
They take their time whenever they return and say that they've done that job is when it happens. So there is we don't know the timeframes of these. I mean, even if it's one person,
Right.
we've had that a lot.
But that's what I'm saying, so usually we approve them here, so they can get all the paperwork ready, and if the county has a flag on them or something, then they notify us. And we figure out with the kids, but now we have to wait 2 more weeks in order,
There were-
well,
And there
more
were
than that.
changes, and there were changes in.
So we discussed the changes.
Yeah.
Well,
I
we
mean,
had
we
a
got-
workshop
we have a
on the
work-
28th.
Well, we can actually do it, a meeting, if it's an emergency, we can do it.
What does this do to your, no, sorry. What does this do if it gets tabled to the 28th? What does this do to your department?
So.
We don't have to wait, we don't have to wait,
For a special meeting?
and it's warranted because we have to get them on board.
No matter what, we're still waiting for
We
the
have to get
county,
approvals from the county,
no matter what.
and we have to get approvals from the county, and there's timeframes.
Okay.
For hiring these people. We hire about 75 people, don't we?
No, we cut back to 66.
Well, I wasn't nitpicking here, I'm saying 75, 66.
I understand, I just want to let
That's a
it
lot
be
of
known that like by this being held back, that means that when all these kids show up to HR, that's going to be his own, because it's one person trying to process all these kids now pushed in, exactly, and that's what I was trying to avoid, that's what I divided it
Between
into different
What
ways.
Sorry does and what Lisa does.
Yep.
And then what the
I
county
understand.
has to do. We can't back up either her or Lisa.
Got it. So I see your other list here, and I'm sorry, we'll, like Terry said, do a special meeting for them.
No, that is when the county gets back to us.
It sounds like we don't wait for the county, we hire them, and then if the county comes back with a flag, then we.
No, Typically, they have to hire. We can do that early in the week, Monday or Tuesday.
Great. So I think I made the motion for 12.
Who's second?
I said,
Oh, never?
aye.
Kelly? 13, town board to approve reimbursement of meal expenses for the following planning board members that attended Deer Federation and April 6th to April 8th.
So moved.
Seconded.
Mike and Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried. 14 is to approve invoice in the amount of $44,349 to Labella Associates of Poughkeepsie for service of rendered in the pay period of January 25th, February 21st, for the project Wawarsing Water District at the Port and Extension.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
It's Joe and Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
It's carried. Town board to approve fund request in the amount of $445 for Sun Run Installation Services, Inc. taxpayer was denied the building permit due to unremedied existing violations. Per the recommendation of the building department and a letter dated April 4th.
So move.
Second.
Mike and Johnny, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Town board to approve the hiring of the following applicants for the parks and cemeteries position.
We
There's
have,
three of them. We have a change for the first person making $18, the other one's making 17.
So move.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. 17 to approve the following event for recreation department recognition of the National Mental Health Awareness Month at Ellenville Hospital on May 10th from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Cost not to exceed $150.
So moved.
Second.
Johnny and Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Town board to approve the reimbursement of meal expenses in the amount of $209.94 for Recreation Director Ms. Larry Lewis Rivera, who attended the Tri-State Conference on March 10th to 13th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Town board to rescind the motion made February 6th. Regular audit meeting for the following expense for the recreation. St. Patrick's.
Yeah, so moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. 20. Town board to approve the following event in the recreation program.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
20 is carried. 21, town board to authorize the town clerk to advertise for one member to serve an unexpired term on the zoning board of appeals to term to expire on December 31st, 2026. The applications are to be returned to the town clerk's office on or before Thursday, May 8th, 2025.
So move.
Second.
That's Mike and Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
Town board to approve the following events for the recreation park. On May 17th, arts and crafts. Mother's Day tea and parenting workshop, May 10th. MBK symposium, April 30th to May 1st. Easter egg hunt collaboration. MSK induction ceremony, May 7th. The senior programs Easter celebration, April 22nd.
I'll move those.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Town board to accept the resignation of Robert Raynor, fire inspector. His resignation is effective as of April 16th.
So move.
I'll second.
Mike and Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I've got a couple that we talked about as well, Terry. I'll make a motion for the town board to allow Wild Earth usage of either Whitman Park or Bob Mangles Park on June 19th with a rain date of June 20th for the purpose of a field trip, contingent upon the town receiving a certificate of insurance prior to the event.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried, one absent. All the other ones.
Town board to approve human resources to advertise for the role of assessment field worker. That good enough, Jackie?
I'll second it.
We have to put the dollar amount.
Nobody gave you a pay.
And it was 25.
I have it written down.
Well, I work on mobile jobs. I work on mobile job. I work like.
I thought that was the thing. Wow.
My note says we were deciding between 22 and 25.
Oh, boy.
Okay, to say based on the salary to be dependent upon experience.
Yeah, no,
So
that works.
should we put the range we were discussing, or should we say just?
So if you have to advertise it.
By
By the time they get the application, then we'll have the number.
I'll second it.
Okay, and then they're due back May.
Eight applications to be due on May. 8th.
Yeah.
Due by noon
Yes, please.
on May 8th. 2020, okay. Town board to approve human resources to advertise for the parks and cemeteries positions, applications to be due back by noon on May 8th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried.
And then the last one is I make a motion for the town board to approve the supervisor to execute to the Department of Transportation application to erect a historical marker at the scenic overlook on Route 52 in the town of Wawarsing on behalf of the Borscht Historical Marker Project.
So move second.
Johnny makes a motion and, Mike seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
No.
That's it.
So that, the last one that we did is, the Borscht Museum group, and they're dealing with the DOT, and as a DOT requirement, the municipality has to forward the application for that. So there's no liabilities involved with the town. Correct?
No cost for them, though.
No cost for those. Yes. All right, and, even if we get somebody's turn to talk.
I'm good for the next.
That's, well, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I would thought.
Brown, Bill Brown,
Program.
Bill,
Okay.
Bill.
Just a couple of quick ones for me. So at the last board meeting, we approved the Bear trash cans. The cans have been received on April 22nd. The Parks Commission is going to be doing a site visit to both Burn Road Park as well as the Mill Street Park to look at the approved locations or to approve the proposed locations where those trash cans will go. And then those will be installed. So if you care to join them on April 22nd, I believe they're meeting in the morning at 9 a.m. to do so. And then my last update, we're undergoing a website refresh project. We had there was a meeting that was held earlier this week, late last week, sorry, earlier this week. We have seen the design layout. The content has not been migrated over yet. We've seen the layout, the ones we've selected. It's looking good. We have a minor change that Jackie had requested that's coming through, and we'll be approving that layout by the 25th. But so far, things are still moving forward for July 4th launch of the new town website. Look and feel, it's looking really nice, a lot easier to navigate. I'm really excited to get that out.
Awesome.
All good, thank you, Dan.
For the Wawarsing water, this is our first season with foliage upon us with our new antenna that communicates with our water tower down to the town highway department. Just keeping the conversation going with the engineers at Labella and our local foreman Jimmy, just to make sure that there is no loss of communication, just doing some little bit of extra of what we've been doing, just because this is pretty good. Well, this is actually the test if we're going to be fully automated. So I'll keep everyone posted if there is any changes, but so far so good. For the Port Bed extension, contract 3 has begun to mobilize. That is the hookups from the curb stops to the basements of the house. This is not hookups for water to be used, just the hookups to prep for use for potable water. The bacteria inspections have been sent to Department of Health for certification. What's unique about this is we only need to do this once. Once we get the approval from the Department of Health from this sample, we're good to go for use inside a house. So we don't have to wait for phase 2 or contract 2 and then contract 3. So contract 1 being done and submitted, that's the big step. The substantial completion date would trigger water allowed to be used, but that would also trigger warranties to kick in. So we're being strategic on when we're doing that. And then that really is in regards to how the contracts are starting. So everything's moving along. And I'll keep everyone posted with that. Lastly, we've had good conversations, Supervisor Hauck was on the calls about the road itself in the Port Bend area. And some good conversations that they'll look the way they did a year ago. So we'll have further updates when we have actual plans, but
Maybe better than.
better than a year ago. And then Quickly, it's been a busy 2 weeks locally. I just wanted to take a minute and recognize all of the organizations and people who, and this is very volunteer driven. And these are just some of the events I knew about locally. The 4th of July had a spaghetti dinner at the Elks Lodge, the student art show down across from Shadowlands, in which some talented kids in our school, those who were able to attend. The highway ribbon cutting ceremony, Tony and his team did a great job making it look. It's nice to see some members in the audience that worked down there as well. RDI celebrated their 1st-year anniversary. Everything Nice celebrated their 2nd-year anniversary. Easter egg hunt led by Nasari and John and her team. Noonday Club had a highway cleanup along the 209 corridor by the Nebelby. And the Garden Club cleaned up Liberty Square.
The weather didn't help on.
Oh, it
You
was,
had to do it on Sunday, right?
It was beautiful Sunday.
it was beautiful, yeah.
It didn't help on Saturday.
Right, and kudos to every organization and, you know, people who I listed, again, vast majority of those are volunteers, and that's what it takes to maintain and improve our area, and also to support each other, when it comes to events, so thank you to everyone involved in what I mentioned, and apologies if I missed anyone, there's just a lot going on. Mike?
Starting out with emergency services, just touching on what Joe just said, there were some pretty big things happening with emergency services as far as Craigsmore has a anniversary celebration this year. The Ellenville, the Village of Ellenville will have a Ulster County Fireman's Parade coming through this year. 2 big events, the public to get out, come out and see the volunteers and support us. Keep in mind, the burn ban is still on till May 14th. We've been very lucky. We've only had 1 call for burn, illegal burn. The weather, of course, has not been cooperating with the burning, which is great. But as the weather changes and it gets warmer, people don't want to clean their yards, burn leaves and brush. It's still against the law to do that. Again, I say it every month. If you cause a fire, there'll be some heavy duty fines involved with the state. As far as the highway goes, Tony, we had a ribbon cutting last Saturday. Unfortunately, the weather didn't agree with us, and most of the guys were out working while we were there cutting the ribbon. Thank you very much to you for heading the program. You did a great job down there overseeing everything. And thank you very much for that. Building department, we had a pretty slow month in March, again, probably due to the weather. We only had 14 new permits, 14 COs and 22 inspections. I do know that there is an influx of building permits coming in right now as we speak. The 2nd phase of the software is going to be going live, where our building inspector and code enforcement will be out on the road using their keypads, their iPads to put their reports in, which will alleviate some of the work for the ladies in the office here, that they can concentrate on getting permits done quicker. Spoke to Renee briefly. The exemption deadline is passed. She's got quite a bit of inspection applications for exemptions that are incomplete that she's looking over. Right now, she's pretty much focusing on sales and getting the records up to date for the assessments. And last thing is we have a bunch of job openings right now. I know we're going to be advertising again for the cemetery and highway for the summer program. It's a good job, the way to get out there and see what they do, and kind of lets Tony see what these people are capable of doing and possible hiring in the future. There's other job openings. We're looking for a fire inspector also. So keep an eye out for possible jobs in town. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thanks, Mike. Fire and safety inspections are,
Very
we've actually scheduled a bunch of them, so me and John's gonna be working on those. And
Oh, and Corey's our new code enforcement, so he's in training right now. He's gonna be a very big asset to the department. He's got a lot of construction background.
yes,
Look forward to working with him.
yes, absolutely. The short-term rental proposed application was submitted by John also. Sent it to Bill. Bill's looking at it.
I brought it back there with comments.
Right, so we'll hopefully have a finished product by the next meeting. We'll circulate it from
Yep.
now until the next meeting to all the board members, so we can look at it and rather than looking at it, I'll show up. And, that's a good thing. Highway garage again, Tony, well, you're on site from you know. You were there and there were some issues with the electrical stuff, which we still have issues with, but, Darlin did a fantastic job. Randy, the foreman of that company, did a great job. He worked with you and me and whoever was in the town, he worked with us very good.
Very good.
And, it's a site with the salt and sand shed and the two buildings and water tower on top. I mean, the water tower is part of the Wawarsing Water District paid by the DEP to the tune of, right now it's at 25 million, it's probably through 30s. But that I guess it's 480,000 gallon water tank, which supplies that district. But that again, the water that was there prior to, we had 5 wells on that property.
No water there.
None of that, we actually couldn't wash our trucks. We had to go to the Eastern Correctional Facility. We went to the village for a long time. No, there was absolutely bad water there. And the old building was it served its life and then some, being built in 1972. So,
I got a question for you.
sure.
What's going on with the 911 tower that's supposed to run the property?
Yeah, I was thinking about that same thing. I was gonna ask Bill, have we heard anything from Jackie,
No,
because Dennis Doyle came and talked to us. He examined the situation, and then what they're talking about is a tower on the highway,
Property.
Highway project.
So should we find out what's going on?
It's called Dennis, yeah. Sometimes these things, gets planned at the county level or planned anything in whatever form, and then something stops it for a while, or something else is going on, or we decide not to do it and they'll tell us. Or we'll follow up on that. John Wallace is in the audience. He's our county legislator for this district, and he's one of 3, right, John? I think Greg and Chris Hewitt and John. So maybe you can discuss, if you read the Kings and Freeman, you read what happened at the, was it Wednesday night or Tuesday night? Tuesday night, right? The whole legislature met, and one of the topics that came up was the landfill in Wawarsing. State, proposed to be off of Milk Road. And Craig Lopez, as a legislator, brought it under a certain measure that he had the authority to do as a motion. The town board works a little differently than the county does, as far as the way that things can be brought to the floor. He brought it to the floor, and it was sent back to the environmental committee of the legislature. So X number of votes. So maybe John can explain a little more in depth what's going on now.
Yes, the county works on a committee system, so each thing starts in a committee, a resolution. It gets discussed there, and then if it passes through that committee, or sometimes multiple committees, depending on what the subject is, then it gets brought to the floor. Craig's initial resolution was defeated in committee, and then we have the second option of petition and discharge, which means you get a minimum number of legislators to sign on saying, yes, we want to push this to the floor, even though it failed in committee, it can be brought to the floor and still voted on. That's what happened Tuesday night. There was insufficient votes to support it, fortunately. We were short by 2 votes to support the resolution. So there was discussion though during caucus time there were some people who have an appetite to say there will be no landfill in the county wide. And that was the reason for referring it back, because tweaking the language to say not just excluding it from Wawarsing, but excluding it county-wide. We think, of course, we'll have to see what happens when it goes through the committee, and there will be enough votes, I think, to actually get that passed.
Is that Kathy Nolan?
Sorry?
Is that Kathy Nolan?
Kathy seemed to support that. There was also Legislator Collins also believes that there is no viable site in the county. We have the topography of this county, all of the streams, the creeks that flow into the rivers, that flow into the Hudson. there really is no place in Oakland County for a landfill. And it's not NIMBY, it's not, I don't want it in my backyard, there just realistically, there just aren't any places for it to go. So having discussions with out of county, places that potentially could either process the waste or could actually create a landfill. And there's gonna be an urging, I think, of the RA to, do more deeper dives into alternative, ways to process the waste and to manage to reduce it down to as minimal amount that we possibly can. So the landfill itself doesn't become as necessary. Jumping garbage into a big pile really isn't the solution. If you look over at Europe and the things that they're doing and have been doing for quite some time now, dumping into a big pile really isn't the answer. So there's a couple of things. All hope is not lost. It was disappointing that it did not pass, but I'm optimistic that this new version that comes out of the committee will state that the county legislature does not believe that there should be one in Oakland County as a whole. So, of course, the RA doesn't have to listen to that. They're a separate entity, but I think they would take that as a strong message that they should, move in a different direction.
And they are a separate entity to an extent. We've discussed this in the past. If you guys should understand or discuss it yourselves, we should discuss that ourselves. County legislature has the power of the endowment over that. Plus, they appoint the people that were appointed on that 5-person board. And probably the last two, I'll go on record and say they were bad choices.
Which I voted no on.
Okay, and I applaud you for that. Yeah. Because it was ridiculous.
Unfortunately, it's a partial which said is true. There's the power of the purse that the county has, but it's over $500,000. So they can do a bunch of studies in the meantime for under that amount, and that's only their bonding authority. If they have cash on hand, they can spend whatever they've got in their bank account. So we have a little bit of control when it comes to the larger project. Their contract is up, and that's the scary part, is that right now they are operating in a extension period from their existing contract. The new contract that they now publicly said they're gonna bring back to the legislature is to remove that cap completely and let them bond whatever they want. I don't know where that's gonna go. I honestly don't know.
That would be more of a ridiculous.
I agree. I don't think there's enough support for that. I know Minority Leader Roberts even brought up the idea of just eliminating the RA and bringing it back as a county agency and moving it into our hands again.
You have to have 5 people on that board that are respectful to everybody in the room, and there's at least one that's not.
Yeah, and what you were saying for the legislative points of technically it's this the chair of the legislature's appointment with legislative confirmation. So we don't technically get to appoint the person, we can approve or disapprove of the choice.
Right. I get that. No, thank you, John, and thank you, Jeff Rubin, for bringing the Borscht Belt stuff. We had a good conversation the other day about the days of the Borscht Belt era. I think Jeff was part of that, but I'm not sure about me and Bill. I'm not sure about that. What do you think, Tom? I think we were. I don't know. Oh, you're not talking either. I'm not talking either. All right, so I have nothing.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I've got one executive session thing, it's gonna take 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll get 2 sides. We'll go into executive session.
Nothing.
No, we don't need to speak.
I'll second, yeah, good need.
Yeah.
I'm in favor.
All right, come on.
Okay.